Hello, this is Love Mastery. Today's teachers are Saenz and Monique Duncan, and we're talking about raising our vibration. Other students will be popping in and out of this conversation, and so you might hear this in the background. So just focus in on the words that we're talking about that will support you to raise your vibration. So what is raising our vibration and how does it feel? That is that place where we become so light and airy. You know, a lot of spiritual people talk about the light, love and light. What the light is that divinity that flows within us. When we have that inside our body, and there's ways to work it to bring it up, many different ways of raising our vibration. When we have it in our body and it's elevated, we are able to create. Now, what can we create? We can create amazing relationships. We can create abundance, which is also called manifestation. So that's when you're wanting to bring in a better job, a better mate, more income, a better home to live in. And when I say better, that means what you feel is better for you. So if you live in a one-bedroom apartment and you'd like to have a two-bedroom home, you might consider that better. So whatever is better and elevating you, that's the manifestation that you want to create and bring in. So we're going to discuss different elements to raise your vibration. There are so many. In Love Mastery, we teach the self-love, body love, manifestation love, metaphysical love, gratitude, forgiveness love. The list goes on because love is not linear, just in relationships. It's a connection between man and God. It is God. Love is God. They vibrate on the same level. So when you're at that level of expressing divinity in your human life, you have a beautiful symbiotic pattern of man, spiritual divinity, and God. And it's almost like the trinity of body, mind, and spirit, how they go together. It's really beautiful. So we in Love Mastery teach many different avenues. There is, let's first talk about gratitude love and how that allows us to increase who we are. There's many tools and techniques, and I'm going to pass it over for a moment to Monique and have her share a little bit about gratitude and how it creates that ease and love in your life, and if there's tools that she has, and then we'll bring it back to me and we'll just go back and forth.
Okay. Yes, I think gratitude is probably one of the most amazing things that, if you want to, say a tool, if you will. I know that when I'm sometimes feeling stuck or I feel like my vibration has dropped, one of the first things I think to do is what can I be grateful right now at this moment? And I start thinking about all of the things that I've been blessed with, and I just start thinking and thanking, being thankful for everything that I have, whether it's the people in my life, my health, pretty much everything, anything that comes to my mind, my car, my family, my friends, my pet, just anything that I could think of. And I love to think about things, and, like in the morning when I'm being grateful and I pray, sometimes I'll write them down because I feel like I'm bringing more energy into all of the things that I'm grateful for when I actually write them down. And then I kind of like pray and set my intentions for the day, and I think like what amazing things can happen today so that tonight I'm going to have more amazing things to be grateful for. And it really, really works. Like it just works so amazing because the more that you focus on it and think about it and be grateful from your heart for what you do have, your vibration just really rises, and then you just start to feel better, and you're put in a place to create and manifest, a better day or whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's relationships or finances or just, health, whatever it could possibly be. And even if you're not going through anything in particular, but you just want to make like more of an amazing day happen, I just feel like gratitude is one of the most amazing things that you could do, really anytime. Anytime that you're feeling low, if you just sit, or something's going on, if you just sit and start to be thankful, you'll immediately, at least I believe, start to feel a sense of peace, and you'll just start to feel your vibration rise.
I agree.
Yeah.
Gratitude is so amazing because the more we give gratitude, which is an alignment to the divine, you're right, it floods our body and it fills us. And the more we open up that expansion to receive, right, as you were saying, and writing it down is this, the word temporal is coming to me. It's this human essence of from the divine to the human. So as humans, we get these thoughts, they come into our conscious awareness. We either accept them or don't accept them. But when we accept it and we see that ta-da moment, that aha, that leveling up of our vibration, then it needs to integrate into our entire psyche, our body, mind, and spirit together. So sometimes when we're doing this work, it does take some people a little bit of time, and all that is practice. As you practice, you gain more about going forward in everything that you're doing. Writing down 5 gratitude tips in the morning and 5 at night and not making them the same is a beautiful way to start the day. I love to smile before I, when my eyes wake up, be quiet and still and give gratitude and or meditate, go into a prayerful space where I'm quiet and just opening up. And it really does support our mornings. I love that you brought up in the mornings because this is another way to create a solid foundation for the morning. Awesome. So let's talk about forgiveness, love. That is really a very, very hard nut, a walnut to crack for many people. And it's interesting how all of these types of loves, the 6 elements of love, how they go hand in hand and interwoven. I know you'll agree, Monique, that this work that we do literally does interweave together, like the self-love and the body work, and all this supports who we are. So what is a way that you share gratitude, or you share forgiveness or heal forgiveness with love in your daily experience?
Yes, I think I've actually used that a lot the last couple of days.
Wonderful.
With one of my sons. And sometimes when people say things to us or something happens, we have a choice. We have a choice, to take offense or, we have a choice of how we're going to respond to really anything that comes our way that maybe, kind of hurts our feelings or whatever, and it could be something huge or something small. It could be, so many things that people do. Sometimes it's betrayal, and it could be with, a spouse or a loved one, whatever it is. And I know it's harder on the really big things, but forgiveness, if people out there are having trouble with forgiveness, I would say, really at first, it's, if you think of it, that it's helping you, like for yourself and for your health and for your own well-being, to just release that and to offer forgiveness, whether, you speak to the person or just say a prayer or write a letter, even whether or not you give it to them, but just releasing that energy and just forgiving and giving it over to your, divine, your higher spirit, whatever your choice is, creator. Just that release is so amazing that that's another way that you just automatically feel your vibration rise, and you feel such a release. You feel so much better. And even if it takes time, sometimes it's instant, and Sometimes it may take a little bit of time, but you definitely will feel better, because when you do that release, like something amazing energetically takes place. And not only will it benefit yourself, but you'll start to see that, as you said earlier, you know, all these ways that we come into alignment, it's like the divine just has a way of working out the situation, because you've trusted to forgive and just hand it over. Because I know that when we hold it in and feel offended, we're just, we're not helping ourselves, our health, our well-being, and we do lower our vibration, and then we could start to harbor bad feelings towards that person. So really, just without even thinking about it, to just tell yourself that you're just going to choose forgiveness is really a good new habit to create.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you talked about forgiveness also being a letter. You know, you can write a letter. And I use that practice. I started 10 years ago with using that with ones that I loved, that I was deeply wounded. First it was a lover, and then it was my ex-husband, and so forth. And the way it looks for me is I would begin the letter, and I also teach this, and this is, you know, really powerful stuff. The way you begin it is by gifting a letter to someone in gratitude. I am grateful for. I am grateful for, meaning I'm grateful for our deep connection and time that we spent together. It allowed me to understand myself. I am grateful for all the beautiful dinners we had together. They were really lovely. I'm grateful for your happy smile. And you don't have, as Monique had mentioned, you don't have to send this off. It's not for someone else, it's for you. But even sending it off is very, very healing. It has healed each and every relationship or situation that I was in that I needed to be healed from. I mean, very, very powerful, where I'm still friendly with everybody today over the years. Also, this letter, when we write letters and we're writing to someone other than, you know, an intimate spouse or partner or something, and we're writing a business person or something else, remember to start with love. I always like people to ask the questions, what would love do? When I read an email that comes in that is not in the highest vibration, you know, from someone else, then my response, of course, normally as human would be to react, but I don't. I stop and I say, how would love answer this? Be in the place of love. Remember, guys, we are out there from all of eternity now with this internet being so big. You know, everybody has our letters because they're in the cloud, they're in the space, they're floating around. Be congruent with who you are. You state something, you be that person. You know, even if you have to develop into it, write a list of who you want to be and become that person. I've done that. Everybody has to do that that wants to grow. So the forgiveness part has to start with you, with honoring and loving a situation, someone else, and then being grateful for it. I also love the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono, where it's, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. Ho'oponopono is really amazing. There are other people who have used this ancient Hawaiian tradition in our more modern spiritual world. This has been really practiced for a very long time on reconciliation and forgiveness with the Hawaiian culture and the South Pacific culture, all the way to, gosh, Samoa, Tahiti, New Zealand. But it really started with the indigenous Hawaiian healers. So Ho'oponopono is incredibly powerful. And so once again, it's so beautiful. It's, I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. And as I said, there are some other spiritual people out there who utilize this in their work today. But if you just go with those and warm up your heart, you're going to raise your vibration. So that's another tip on raising your vibration in forgiveness. Now I want to talk a little bit about metaphysical love. And the reason I'm moving into metaphysical love is because metaphysics is a relationship between God and man. And so what greater love is there than the relationship between ourselves and our divine creator? And as Monique had said, many different people use many different terms. So whether it's creator, source, God, love, flow, vibration, however you say it, you know specifically what it is that you're saying. So always speak in terms for you. Some people may say that flow, love, and vibration is very hippie-ish. Well, that's okay. It can be bohemian, you know, if it serves other people. So let's not judge. That's also part of raising our vibration, is not being judging. So in the metaphysical aspect of love, it's staying as the image and likeness of our creator, of the divine. As infinite spiritual beings, we are elevated to such a high place that when we incarnate into our human bodies, we have this beautiful vessel that we get to play with and be with and experience. Remember, in our spirit form, in our soul form, we don't have a body. So we may remember experiences, but we don't remember them like we do when we're actually in them. That's why so many people are struggling. If you keep yourself elevated and understand these things, you can move through all the shifts and turns, energy we call them, that come towards us. You have people in your life that are not energetically suited for you, then you should remove them, because the most vital thing about this experience is this is your time here on earth to grow your soul, to heal things that have not been healed in other lifetimes, and to clear the path for everything. You are an infinite, soulful, spiritual being. And so to be that and understand that in the human form allows us to have this huge vibration, larger than most people even realize. So I love metaphysical love. I was born and raised in metaphysics, and so yes, I love it. But if it didn't feel congruent to me, if I hadn't had healings, if I wasn't able to change lives, if I wasn't able to work with the weather and plants and help, move humanity along, I would find another way. It may not be that that's my primary force. Most people, or there's several people, there's Buddhism, and they're connected with other forms of spirituality. They're just as powerful and magnificent as I feel my gift is to God. So again, non-judgmental. We go at this with total love. We don't judge anyone else's perspective on anything. If those of you who are listening are atheist, if you are any other, belief, if you're Muslim, whatever, you all believe in a higher source. You all believe in a God. So that God, we share the same God. He has many names. And if you don't believe we share the same God, that is okay. That is your right. And just that you don't fit into this space that I'm talking about. And that is okay. It's all okay. Did you want to add anything to metaphysical love before we move on, Monique?
I just love the way that you, express to everybody that no matter what their belief system, even if they don't believe that there is a higher power, just saying, I'm releasing this. I love that you say that. That's so amazing. And I love that you point out with everything that you're teaching to us today that all of these things is a form of coming into alignment. And that when we come into alignment, that's how we raise our vibration.
Yes.
So that just, when you say coming into alignment, that just I was like, my spirit just went, woo.
Yeah, because you know what it feels like to have that divinity, or again, and I normally don't use this word, that light go through you. You know what it feels like because you've experienced it. And that's why you're coaching in the Love Mastery. I know what it feels like, and it's beautiful. And what's interesting for people as they're raising their vibration or living this human experience is you have a choice on what you want. As humans on earth, we have free will. So even though you're an infinite spiritual being, in this human body, you have the choice whether or not you want to proceed and be a vibrant being or whether you want to live in a lower density realm. And it's okay. It's your choice. No one has the right to choose for you. These are your choices. And so to be in alignment means you're raising that vibration. So these are all about becoming and up-leveling who you are. If you like where you are, awesome. You know, that's okay. That means you're happy and you're content in your existence, and no one has the place to tell you otherwise. Let's move into manifesting. And then we're going to touch on self-love and body love. Manifesting, we spoke to in the very beginning about this is how we manifest, is by raising our vibration. As Monique and I share with you about self-love and body love, which comes right after this, the most important thing to remember is all of these elements together create greatness in us. It elevates up. If you don't have a self-love aspect of who you are, if you haven't discovered who you are, what that means is you simply have not taken the time to literally get to know that you're spirit. Inside of us, when we learn self-love, we open up this channel, which simply is like when we talk about a channel or alignment. Can you imagine a pole being from the top of your head and going down along your spine? Yeah, that sounds like it hurts. So we're just imagining it. So if you imagine it going all the way down, this is where our soul essence resides within our body. And so our soul, we want to open that space up. So you absolutely need self-love and body love, because we have, once we work on the self-love issues and we're like all clear and happy and elated and understand that our past stories do not control us, that we've changed the energy of our stories through love, then we want to work on the body love, or we want to start working on it when we're working on self-love, because once we open up that space in self-love, our soul is allowed to do what it's supposed to be doing. We're not closing it off and hiding it anymore. We're allowing our soul's purpose to come forward, but we also need to understand and appreciate the body love, because that is the way in which we are not closing down further. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. So when you have all of these elements at its highest peak, you're generally is called the manifester, because you're able to, that you're not dealing with jealousy, you're not dealing with anger. These are all for the 99.9% of your life, or 90% of your life or more. You want to get to the highest level for you. Not for me because I'm telling you, but for you because you want to have everything that you want. And that is okay to bring it in. That is okay. Our birthright when we came here on planet Earth was that we have everything. Divine love provides everything, every single human need. And when you understand that divine love takes care of every human need, then you understand that you in this human form can relax. When we relax, we allow things to flow. When we allow things to flow, we are able to see the opportunities that are out there that we have closed off because we are not in the state of manifesting. We're not in this higher vibration, and we just don't see. There's a concept about this, and that is those who have raised their vibration and live in a higher vibration, they see things differently. Now we're getting a little bit spiritual here when I talk about going from the third dimension into the fifth dimension. The fourth dimension is really nothing. The third dimension is where we live now. The fifth dimension is a different frame. It's higher vibration of a level. And so we see things quicker, faster than other people. You're sitting at a stoplight and it turns green and you take off, but the car next to you hasn't, and cars start honking. They're generally in the third dimension because they're slower. It's like almost lethargy or being lethargic. You're slower to be moving in on everything. So when I had said before that as you raise your vibration, the benefit is you're able to see opportunities that are coming to you, and you're able to make decisions which way you want to go. You're working with energy. So it's the same thing at the stoplight. You see the light change before other people. You look to make sure that the cars are not coming before you go, and then you head on out. So the point of all of this is there are opportunities moving by you all the time. Your energy is raised, and you're moving in a flow of divinity instead of the human realm of lower density. So density is heavy, and it's sluggish like mud, wet mud, and that's where you are. Or do you want to be up like a cloud where you're able to move around and do things quicker? This is also called the alpha state. We generally tend to live in the beta state as humans. And the alpha state is that elevated state as we raise our vibration. Here's an example that and I always give everybody props for the work that they do that I remember in a conversation. This is something that Angela Gower-Johnson talks about the alpha and beta state. You're walking down the street in New York City. It's really crowded. There are thousands of people at 4 p.m. trying to get home on those sidewalks. You see someone coming to you who has a message for you. You're in the alpha state. They're in the alpha state. You're going by each other very quickly, but you're able to focus in on the message as they walk past you and retain it and move forward. When you're in the beta state and you're walking past an alpha person or somebody that has a message, you're sluggish and like, what did you say? Okay, so those are the two differences. You're able to absorb, retain, and bring in when you're in the alpha state, when you're elevated up, as opposed to the beta state. So it's being in an active form of meditation. We open up these channels for everything to come in. And remember, we are always working on good coming in. So everything good comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. That's an access consciousness or part of an access consciousness statement. So utilize everything and anything that supports you. Being a metaphysician, I like Angela's thing. I like access conscious statements. I utilize them to support me. I don't have to specifically listen to other metaphysicians. I listen to the entire world. What doesn't serve me, I let go of. And I want you guys to do the same. What doesn't serve you, don't keep in that pretty little brain of yours or that body or anything else. Let it go. Just let it go. Did you want to add to that? Monique?
Yeah, I just love the way everything is connected that you're teaching us. You know, everything kind of connects, sort of like, I know this sounds silly, but I'm like seeing a pizza pie.
Cool.
And it's like all these pieces of pizza, you know, that come together in the middle.
Yes.
It's like each piece that each piece that you're talking about, it all joins together in the middle. And, you know, just how it all just comes together, you know, raising our vibration and being more aware, and you know, the state of being that we're in, alpha versus the beta state, and so that we don't miss out on opportunities. It's so easy when we're clouded and foggy because our mind, you know, and our energy is just focused on too many things. And so I see how it's so important when you say, you know, being in alignment and kind of like being in a state of that meditation all the time, that we don't have to only feel that when we meditate, but we can actually raise our vibration to kind of be in that state all the time so that we're always aware. And I thought that that just stood out to me, that's so cool, you know, how everything comes together, that divine love, you know, can be expressed really in every area of our life. Yes. And it just all comes together. So I just thought that was really cool, how everything just all works together.
And I love how you said about the pizza, because I like to use the analogy of puzzles, you know, with everything in life. We're just taking one pizza slice or one piece of the puzzle and we're putting it together so that we get a complete finished product of a full pizza or a fun puzzle. You know, it's fun to think of it like that, because literally that is the way that we can understand how it works together. So that's beautiful, wonderful. Let's move into self-love. Self-love, as we described before, is that place where you have this connection with yourself that's very deep and loving, where you allow your soulful self to come forward and to lead your life. We all, and I'm going to say all because there is trauma in everyone's life in one form or another. The death of somebody produces trauma. The breakup in a relationship produces trauma. You may have had a great childhood, but you still have, you understand trauma. So this works for everyone. If you have had a dysfunctional childhood, I did, and that's why I teach Love Changes the Energy of Your Story. That's why I speak on that, because I got from one place to another. When you understand this, your entire life changes. I remember, and I'm going to share a story simply so that you can see the difference. I can give you, which is on my website, you can download my free book, you can download my free video series. It has the inner child process, which is very important to use in healing trauma with love. Because you're loving your inner child, you're loving your younger you. Nobody has loved her the way that you can. And when you do that process, whether you're male or female, you're loving that little being into happiness and joy. And you don't move on to another age until that little being comes to you 3 to 4 times and bounding out, excited to see you in this meditative process, because you have built and healed a relationship. What that does is that uplifts, that uplevels your emotional intelligence. So you have 2 operating systems, the evolved being that you have worked through and your emotional intelligence system, which is working and supporting each other. And literally, they do work together. I have seen on myself and many, many, many people who do this work, it works that way. So such beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I won't go through all the processes. We do the mirror work. We do not say our name and I love you, because soul has had many names. We're connecting with our soul. So what I want to share with you is, because the little story that I was prefacing that I wanted to say was my childhood, you know, it was great and it was god-awful miserable. My mother, whom I love, and I still see today, was highly abusive. And bless her heart, she knew no better. She was a young mother, and she's not the most mentally well woman, and that's okay. That's her story. She came into this lifetime to have that experience and to move through it. The amazing thing was I had this dynamic grandmother who was a metaphysical practitioner, first raised Amish, left the community, met my grandfather, and then probably 10, 15 years later found metaphysics, and was so powerful that as a little girl, I could be no prouder than, you know, most people are so proud of their daddies or their grandpas. I was the proudest of her. I loved my father dearly and I was proud of him. But everyone else in my family was just so, oh, Grandpa Pay, he's so fabulous. And he went from being an immigrant in Italy, you know, with a 5th grade education to be a millionaire twice over. You know, the Depression took his money and he rebuilt up again. I say that woman, my Nana, was so amazing, rock star amazing, that I created my life to be who I am, because I saw from her, I'm going to get emotional here, I saw from her such great strength and beauty and lives that she was changing. I used to go with her. They used to call them patients instead of clients. And I used to go with her to see her patients. And what it taught me, and this is why I got into nursing and started working in a metaphysical facility, a holistic spiritual place. It was very valuable. And then I wanted to be a lecturer. So what do you think I did? I became a teacher and a speaker. So my point is we can become whoever we want. So that story of the trauma is important, because I grew up not being connected to who I was. I was so low and so quiet, I didn't want to be seen, that I couldn't even laugh out loud. That's how severe I had gone low. And although I was a little attractive little girl or woman at the time, you know, and was able to get married and all that stuff, I was not living the life I wanted to live. And it took me many years. I did start at age 23 studying self-love and asking God to show me the way. I didn't read books about it or anything like that. I would just pray. And I didn't even know that I was meditating until years later when I became more mainstream. So when I started studying self-love big time, especially after I left my first husband 10 years ago, that I was married to since I was 18, was what self-love does is it opens up this love within you. Our solar plex gets full of all sorts of DNA crap from 10, 20, 30,000 years. It's our fight or flight space. It's our devastation space. It's our homelessness, our lack of money, our lack of love, people who are deceased. All the pain resides within our solar plex. When you clear that out, and when you elevate up and out of it, it literally seals shut so that you feel solidly loved. And when you feel loved for yourself and you understand how amazing person and being you are, and each of us have that divine right to understand our magnificence. When you understand your own magnificence is when you understand who you are. That is self-love. And you will actually walk around when it hits you and you'll be like, I actually kind of know this feeling from loving someone else of the opposite sex or same sex, whichever gender you prefer. But it's that love, it's that excitement, it's that tingly, the butterflies, the joy. Why not have a love affair with yourself as you have one with someone else? It only makes you a better person. You all know that when you are in love with somebody, especially in the beginning, you do everything you can to make yourself better, to make the experience better. So why not make your experience better in life? That's what self-love does, is it brings you to that point. Now you, Monique, have had amazing changes in self-love. Do you want to just share a teeny bit that has supported you the most? We're going to wrap this up in a few minutes here on this and body love, but it would be awesome to hear.
Yeah, the self-love, the body love, it just all tied together. Also, what helped a lot was the inner child work, because there were things there that I didn't realize were there, that by doing the meditations that you give us, things just, I just said a prayer before I did the meditation and things just came up and I was like, wow. When I first started doing the class, the Love Mastery class, like things that I had been suffering from for years that were just little blocks for me loving myself, that I kind of didn't even know why I did what I did, or why I would block myself from certain things. And I realized that I was holding in this energy and all these, these things inside of me. And so the meditations that you gave and the homework and the processes, it's like it just brought it all into the open, and I was able to release that. And then with the self-love and the body love work, then it really took root, and I was really able to do it from a sincere place, and just little by little doing the practices, before I knew it, it really, those roots grew. And I just, you just start to feel the difference. You start to make different decisions, and you start to ask yourself, does this honor me? Is this for my highest and best good? Is this showing myself, love for myself? And so it's kind of like just happens naturally, to where you're not trying to do something and you're not faking it, or you're not acting. As long as you do the work and the practices, it will happen naturally, with ease and grace. And it's just an awesome feeling. It happens, well, for me, it happened very subtly as time went on. And it's just really an awesome feeling, when you're, for whatever reason, not able to love yourself or to give yourself you know, the love that you deserve, and it mirrors out. Something that I learned that was huge for me is that to the extent that I love myself and treat myself, you know, that's mirrored back on the outside, through everybody else and through everything else. So it's just an awesome and amazing feeling when you start to notice it on the outside. People react differently, and, you know, you start manifesting, you know, things differently, and it's just an awesome feeling. So yeah, to anyone out there, if you haven't used all of the processes or the meditations, you know, as soon as you can, just start doing them, and you'll start to notice the most awesome and amazing miracles.
Yeah, it's wonderful because I put it out there for anybody to use, and thousands upon thousands upon thousands. I mean, I don't know how many thousands have,
Wow.
you know, have downloaded it, you know, specifically. I'm not looking at the chart of it, but it's amazing because I give this away for free. And if people need help and want coaching, then that's when they can come work with me. But it doesn't stop them because they have work to do. They can do this. Any of you can do this work and start to change your life. Just go to my website. It's a resource site for you. And just as Monique said, the reason Monique is here today, she's my assistant coach in Love Mastery. And she's going through the training program to be a Love Mastery certified coach. So she will be one of the coaches teaching Love Mastery here, and then also on her own. So the reason that she was chosen to be in this program, which we have had many Love Mastery coaches take this program to be a coach, is because of her quick, fast, and amazing turnaround in her experience. When we met, she was not as joyously bubbly, and the way she kicked that crap out of her experience was so powerful that I just said, girlfriend, you know, you got magic there. And it's really beautiful. Every time I see her, she's more and more beautiful to me. You know, she's also a very lovely woman. But I mean, she's more and more beautiful to me because she literally is the true exemplification of what raising your vibration is about. She lives it, she works it, she breathes it, she eats it, same as me. And so we oftentimes, you know, move together with people that are symbiotic to us, and so she's one of them. So let's talk about body love really quick. Body love is literally about honoring your body. We disconnect from our bodies at a very young age. Oftentimes it's from abuse or from sexual abuse, or from embarrassment. There are many, many things, or being scolded or judged. There are many, many things that have separated us. Generally, it's because of something that has to do with our body. So, and everybody does disconnect at some point from their body until they reconnect and understand the senses of who they are and how it works. For me, I disconnected from my body, and I tell this story all the time. And I didn't realize until I was on an interview a couple years ago with a body love expert, and I was on a body love series, and she asked me, when was the first time I disconnected from my body? And it threw me for a second, and most people know that nothing throws me. You know, I can answer anything. And so I realized that it was when I was about 4 years old. I entered kindergarten a year early. And I wanted to play on the playground on the jungle gym, and my mom put me in these one-piece polyester dresses. That's what, you know, was hip in the, you know, well, by then it was the 70s. And I was embarrassed to have my panties show. And so I knew that my panties were showing, and I wasn't wearing shorts or anything, or ruffly underwear or whatever. And so I wanted to play so much that after a couple of experiences like that, I just disconnected from my body. I have had, since I was very young, age 6, a child molester. And so that's another space that made me disconnect further. That went on for about 5 years until I was old enough and strong enough to literally escape him. And no, it was not a family member. It was a close family friend's husband. So there's a lot of things in life that can affect us and can disturb us and can turn us. But the point is as you deal with your stuff, love changes the energy of your story. I've actually I've had to forgive him for what he did. He no longer is with us. But in order for me to move forward, that was his journey, and this is mine. And mine is healing myself, keeping myself elevated and expressive, and being a love person, a love being, because this is where I want to go. Nobody can stop me. No mate, no friend, no president, no countryman, no one, because I know who I am. I want you all to get to that space where you know who you are. Out of the body love work, what was some of your favorites? Did you like the honor vows, or what did you like connecting with, Monique?
Yes, I loved the honor baths. I loved being able to look at yourself in the mirror. The first time I did it, I cried, and I couldn't even, the words couldn't even come out of my mouth. So that took time. And that really stood out to me when you said, being disconnected from your body. And so that's so important to do all these practices to figure out, when you're feeling disconnected, what is it that's there so that you can heal from it and be connected. But yes, I love doing the honor baths. So whether you're taking a bath or a shower, showing yourself love and just honoring yourself with beautiful things and smells and just the way that you care for yourself. And that and the mirror work was really huge for me, and where I noticed a huge difference. And in time, feeling connected. I remember you also told us to do dance with music, and I remember I felt a huge connection to my body.
Yes.
that was lost. It was a connection in a different way. I may have danced at different places and had fun, but it was different.
Right.
I totally felt connected. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. So that was really awesome too.
Isn't that fabulous? There's one place. I go to this loft every so often here in LA as a space to get away, and and I stay anywhere from 3 to a week and a half there, and because it has such high ceilings and is a huge 900,000 square foot place open. I don't know what happens, but my soul, literally, I can dance for hours, especially after work. All of a sudden, I turn on the music in the morning, and I just start dancing. And then all of a sudden, I'm realizing it's 10 at night. And I've done my meditation by dancing and connecting to my body. And it's so amazing because for people who didn't like their bodies, I had a lot of men when I was younger touching my body. And so I gained weight in order to keep them away. Well, what that did to my body was it slowed down the process. When I wanted to go back to my original body size, it slowed down the process and keeping it off. So we all struggle with something. And so to be able to connect to the body and love it and respect it and thank it for being here to support you in this journey, in this human journey, I didn't realize how detrimental I was doing things to my body. Now, if I had the chance to do it with this awareness all over again, it would be different, and that's okay. The point is the forgiveness here, the gratitude, the manifesting, the metaphysical aspects, the self-love, and the body love. And when we bring that together, we rise above, and we can raise our vibration in alignment to be who we naturally are. You don't have to do them all at once. You do one at a time until you are proficient in one, and then you move into the other. Monique happened to accelerate really fast. Most people don't go as fast as she went. It's not a race, and it wasn't a race for her. It's that she was open. And when we talked about the surrendering part, she surrendered into this process. So she's had a great experience. I've surrendered into the process, and I've moved very fast over the years. So it's just about that surrender into it. We recommend prayer and meditation to bring you in that stillness so you can listen and ask your questions, you can always ask the divine questions. They will be answered. Many people say, well, I can't hear the answers. That's because you're not listening. You're not still enough. You haven't surrendered. Keep doing your work and you'll get there. So thank you all for joining Monique Duncan and Mia Saenz today for this conversation on raising your vibration and using the 6 elements of love. Have a wonderful day.